Welcome to Act 3. So glad that you joined us today. And guess who's with us? A dear friend, Abigail. Hey Abigail, how are you?
Good, you?
Oh, I'm wonderful, thanks. I haven't seen you though in ages since all this COVID stuff. That's a mighty fine looking mask you're wearing, young lady.
Thanks.
Cool. So on today's episode, I was thinking we'd talk about falls. Have you ever fallen?
All the time.
Oh my goodness. How about you tell us about your most recent fall?
That was actually just last night. Believe it or not, it includes a milk jug.
It includes a milk jug?
Uh-huh.
What happened?
Well, I was coming home with my mom after going shopping,
Uh-huh.
and I was bringing in the milk,
Uh-huh.
and then my little brother was being a goofball and grabbed my ankle. And
Oh no!
splat.
And then you went splat?
Uh-huh.
Oh no. Did you hurt your knees?
A little bit. I even have this little bruise
Oh my goodness, darling.
right there.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry that you've got a bruise. But you know
not
what?
too bad.
That's true. It's not too bad. And when we're a bit younger, when we fall, it hurts. But it's not too bad. But when we get a little older and we fall, well, there's the rub. Then things really start to hurt. And while we can't cry over spilled milk, we can do a lot to prevent our falls, right? So this episode is going to be all about preventing those falls. So stay tuned.
I'm sitting on the edge of love and happiness. Yeah. Never experienced such a moment as this. So if you got that good feeling in your body and you wanna bring this moment to life, come with me, we'll hit the town. Let's go right now and live the life. I just wanna shine like the sky up like a sunset, living with no regrets. I just wanna shine.
First up, Shelly Ibert is working with Chrissy Stefan, and she is going to teach us how to move our bodies safely so that our core gets stronger and we can help prevent those falls.
I am hearing such good things about ways you can prevent falls, and I know you are so good at showing people as a physiotherapist. I wondered if you could show us a few tricks.
I have lots of tricks.
Lots of tricks.
Yep.
Tell me.
All right. So I run my balance class, and so I always start my first class with my essentials. So that's looking at your core activation and then the balance essentials. Do you want to do it together?
Sure.
Okay. So number one,
Okay.
look at our posture.
Okay.
So when we look at our posture, we're going to look at you drawing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not the front of the head, but the crown. You're
Okay.
thinking about elongating that spine up to the ceiling.
Ooh, that's
Beautiful.
working.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So once you've done that,
Okay.
then we want to tighten our core. Okay. Do you know what your core is?
Well, I don't think I have a core.
We all have a core. So
Okay.
our core is our natural back brace that
Okay.
sits inside us.
Okay.
And so often after back injury, after fall, after being sedentary for a while, it deactivates. And so we want to wake it up. And so in order to wake it up, the easiest way for me to teach you is through your bladder muscle. So what you do, everyone knows what it's like to stand in line, wait for the bathroom, you got to go pee, and you got to hold it.
Yes,
Right.
that is true.
You know what that's like, yeah.
Yes, I do.
So when you hold it, so I'm going to get you to try that.
Okay.
So hold that muscle.
Okay.
So closing that muscle in.
Mm-hmm.
You should feel this little tension.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So that's your core.
Okay.
Okay, so you let it go.
Okay.
Okay, and then you put it on again. Yeah. So when you put it on, you're creating that little tightening. The one thing that we talk about is that when you close the bladder muscle, it tends to draw you up, in and up.
Okay.
So over time, we actually don't want that in and up because it creates a muscle imbalance. So you're going to relax. And then when you close that muscle, instead of going in and up, you're going to think about closing it like closing curtains or closing, sliding door closing.
Okay.
So we're going to try it again.
Okay.
So you close it in, straight in, and you should still feel that tension there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that's your core. So
Okay.
now we've got a good posture.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got that core on, just gently. You should still be able to breathe, still be able to talk, still be able to walk. And so if you're grunting or groaning as you're doing it, then your six pack's coming in. So
Oh. Okay.
You want the one underneath. All right, so that's your first two.
Okay.
All right, so you're up nice and tall, crown of the head's up to the ceiling, core is on. And then what I commonly see, especially after people have had a fall, is they get fearful. And with that fear, we tend to drop down, or we
Okay.
tend to go towards our toes, or we tend to lose our center. Okay, so I see a lot of people with Parkinson's who tend to go back to their heels. A lot of people with this kind of sway back, they'll tend to also go back onto their heels. Or people that use walkers or canes, they'll tend to go forward. And so then that's more like you're like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and you've got to be held up by cables or something in order to stop you from falling, right? And so if we go back to crown of the head to the ceiling, turn your core on, and then you want to feel what's happening in your feet. Okay?
Okay.
So we're going to see, first of all, if you rock forward and backward, you're going to go to your heels, and then to your toes, and back again. And then what you want to do is find that center. So find where the middle is. Okay, so it shouldn't be on your heels, shouldn't be on your
Okay.
toes, but it's somewhere in the middle. Got it?
Okay, I got it.
All right, then you want to look at right to left. So anyone with an ankle injury, knee injury, or back injury, they'll tend to kind of shift to one side. And so we want to make sure to draw it back into right to left center. So you're not over onto the right side, you're not over onto the left side, but you want to be centered.
So even with these 3 exercises, it sounds like even doing those at home will help to prevent falls. And I know lots of people fall, so
Yeah.
including me.
Yeah, all of us do.
So we all do,
Without planning
yeah.
it, right? No one plans to fall.
No,
It just
no.
happens, right?
But even just, it sounds like having more body awareness and getting stronger, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chrissy. This has been amazing.
While we're protecting our bodies as we get older, sometimes we fall in ways that, well, people just can't see. Today we're having a candid conversation on the Act 3 radio program where I get to interview a marvelous, marvelous man by the name of Mr. Peter Hudson. Peter shares with us some of those darker sides, and it's really good for us to take a note that it's more than what we think it is when it comes to our mental health.
Okay, and so I want to talk a little bit about falling. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about the fall on your butt kind of, or on your knees or on your body, but there was a time in your life and when you fell, whether it was through drugs, through alcohol, through the loss of someone you love, through, like, that happens, right? People fall in ways that are so beyond. But you've been so inspirational to me when I hear your stories. And I'm curious, how did you get back up?
Man, like I think I was telling you before, you need purpose, man.
Yeah.
Purpose is what keeps us going. You need something to drive you, to make you put one foot in front of the other, otherwise we are just going to marinate in our brains. We're going to marinate in our, and in our like we said before. And
Yeah.
I think you think about yourself, but you also think about your loved ones, especially more now than ever. I have a little daughter that relies on me to be strong. The world's crazy right now. We're setting our children up for failure in a way.
Yeah.
Like for just to deal with, well, not failure, but just to take on so much.
Yeah.
We're not dealing with failure. We got to show children that the world is also beautiful too, and there's so much beauty to it. But we have to give our kids the tools
Yeah.
to process as well. And for me, like me helping people is what keeps me going too. Like I want to help people. I really want to help men right now. And young men and kids. Like we have to, suicide for men is three times as much as to females. It's 75%. All I've heard is, including losing my best friend. I lost my best friend just under 2 months ago, who took his own life. I was suffering with addiction. All I've been hearing, and especially through COVID, it's more through COVID because there's so much stress of men taking their lives. We're raised. I know I was raised to to, you know, for dessert, I always say, you know what I ate for dessert at my house? My feelings. You know, don't be a like those days are over. Don't be a man. You know, like those, even those like that, just thinking, man, you know what, we are allowed to cry, we're allowed to feel pain. We're dealing with like people are losing their jobs and don't have money and can't raise their family. There's so much pressure, you know, but we have to teach this to our kids. Like this should be being taught at school. You know what I mean? When you're like 8 on, do you know what boys, you know, it's okay to sit back and you don't have to suck it up. You know what I mean?
I do. I know exactly what you mean.
You can cry and go punch something and be mad and be upset, but as long as it's not another human. But you punch me, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
but I'm sorry to get so deep here, but that's just something I really I want to help, and I know that I'm going to help a lot of men on the streets too, because addiction is all part of that too. So these people on the street, they're doing the same thing. They're just killing themselves slowly. You know what I mean? Because they're covering up trauma and stuff. So I think we have to really just, you know, have compassion for people, you know?
Yeah.
And
we wouldn't treat ourselves or our friends and the people we love the way we often treat ourselves.
No.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we're hard on ourselves.
That beat up stick, right? Like, come on,
like,
take me down the runway, man. Like,
and you know, that's the thing is, and you don't always know that people are hurting. Like that's the thing with my friend Matt there. Like I put him on a pedestal as a friend too. Like I loved him, and I just thought he was just so great. So I don't think he wanted to see, he put the armor up in front of me. So what I'm saying is, you don't always know that people are hurting. So,
you know, I'm so glad that you said that. I'm so glad that you said that. There's a tremendous, especially when it comes to suicide. And you know, in all fairness, I'm not a professional counselor or anything like that. So like, I don't want to speak out of turn or have wrong facts here, but what I do know for sure is that suicide in itself is the silent killer for men, more than women, as much for women, but under different reasonings and different circumstances. I think that the pressure for men to produce, and
it's like you're being the man of the house and like all that stuff too. You know what? It's okay to be like, hey, you know what? I need a right now. I'm not doing good. And you know, I've become really good with that. Like 10, 15 years ago, I would have just grabbed a bottle of Jack, a couple grams of blow, you know what I mean? And wallowed in my and it wouldn't have got better. And I'd probably be going down the same route Matt would have been, because it really takes you went dark. You go on a dark route when you're battling addiction. And I still had my darkness, but I honored my feelings. I validated them. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is okay. And I number one, and I know everything was easier said than done, but I had good people around me, a support group. I reached out. I have these 3 dudes. I'm very lucky. I have 3 dudes that text me every morning by 6 a.m. and ask how I am. If I don't get back to them by 9, I'm scared my door's going to come off the hinges. So first thing I did was I got a therapist. I got a counselor. So I talked to somebody. I started reading. I'm just doing it the right way. I'm not doing it out of like, I'm talking about it. I got good people. I have strong men around me. And you know what? It wasn't hard, especially for men. I joined a men's group with Risebridge. And those guys, see there, they don't have to, I don't have anybody like that. Go down to you gotta push yourself.
You gotta step out.
You know what I mean? You gotta be able to you're like, hey, I'm sick. What do you do when you're sick? You go to the doctors, or you go do something you go get ointment. Well, that was my ointment. And I went to this men's meeting, and I have 2 of them call me every morning. They're always checking in on me. Men need other men to talk about, and we're talking about feelings. It's amazing.
Well, and the reason you're doing it is the most inspirational reason of all. You have a beautiful little girl that relies on her daddy.
And you know what, the reason I'm doing, and I have to tell myself this too, is for myself. Because if you don't have self-love, and if you don't love yourself, you're not good to my daughter. I'm not good to my family or anything. I have to always say that. I forget that. See, I even catch myself doing it now. I'm like, I do it for my daughter, but no, I'm doing it for myself. Because if you're no good to yourself, you're no good to anybody.
Really hope that you're learning something today, not only about our physical health, but our mental health as well. But you know, there are some products that we can use that really help to keep us from falling and to give us the strength that we need. And I can tell you firsthand that I have been seen around town with my black cane, and I've actually gone from using it 75% of the time to sometimes 25 or 10%. But I always feel safer having a tool with me to support me as I'm walking. So I invite you to have a listen to Teresa Osmond. She is interviewing Barry Whiston, and he is with Moose Mobility and Scooter Company. I wonder what they've got for us.
Hi there, I am so glad today to be at Moose Mobility with Barry, and we're talking about fall prevention. Thanks for being on, Barry. What kind of things do you have that can help people from falling or prevent people from falling in the home or outside of the home?
Hi, Teresa. We have lots of different products, and because falls can be based on just physical strength, where the muscles just aren't enough to hold people up, or maybe it's just a balance issue. We have a wide range of different products, and they could be something as simple as we have a unit that it's just a grab bar, and you can reach out and somebody can grab onto the other end of it, and you can help pull the person up. So you can have very simple items that can make a big difference to somebody.
And that actually helps the caregiver too, because there's less strain on them. So it's fall prevention plus helps with injury prevention.
It does. Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's where a lot of injuries happen when somebody does fall and they have to try to get back up. And a lot of the products that we have are designed to work just as your body works. So we have a pole system that can be installed into your home. You don't have to make any modifications. You don't have to drill holes. These are products that can be taken in, moved to different locations. So if you're in a temporary residence or you're in a rental property and you don't want to have fixtures that are going to cause damage, a lot of these products are designed for that. So they're very convenient. And again, these products are like the pole. We have one particular pole that has they call it an M handle. It's an M sideways, and it's like a ladder. You can actually use it to help pull yourself up. And so these are products that, again, they're help you to stabilize yourself. For some people, it's also good to use those muscles. So part of the fall awareness and part of the mobility products is try to keeping as active as you can and try to keep working the muscles that you can work to keep them strong. So we have walkers that you can use that can help to get you out and give you a balance if your balance is your issue. There's seats on them so you can sit down and rest if you need to rest. And then there's also, like in your bathroom, there is just a ton of products that can help you to get into your tub and get out of your tub, to make it easier to get onto your toilet. Things that can give you independence so that you can, enjoy being in the place that you live as long as you possibly can.
That's so important. And you talked about building up the muscles and staying strong. That is a huge part of fall prevention too, is making sure that you keep as strong as possible. You mentioned walkers, and I think it's really important that people consider walker rather than not going out, right? I know my mom, she did not want to use a walker, but I said, well, the alternative is just not being able to move and get out. And because she was always so scared of falling.
And that's a big barrier for a lot of people. And the thing is if you can get out and be mobile, it just mentally, it does so much for you. Physically, of course, there's lots of benefits. And there's the products are changed a lot too over the years, where they try to make them a little more cooler. There's a lot more color combinations, and there's ones that are made for super lightweight. So if you're going into a car, you can get them, in and out of a car easy. We also, kind of talking about the vehicle side, Here's another simple little thing. And what this is when you open the door of your car, the latch of the car, this just pushes into the latch. And now you have another spot to grab to help yourself pull up. So again, a lot of mobility products, they're not expensive products, but with what they do, they create that freedom that
Yeah,
gets
make
you
a big difference. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had one of those for my dad exactly like that, and it really helped because he was scared of falling getting in and out of the car, and that was a huge help. And it's a simple item.
Yeah, and just simple bars, grab bars. You know, we've seen customers of ours where we've done custom work on their vehicles because if we've had some people that have MS that they have a balance issue and they don't know when they're going to fall, but just having the security of having a grab bar to hold on to, again, is a really, it's a low cost item that just works extremely effective.
Like even in my home, when I'm walking down the stairs, I have my hand near the rail. I'm not necessarily holding on, but it's near, or climbing stairs anywhere. Like that's a fall prevention, and it's a simple thing that we can do, right? Just be conscious of the fact that you could trip. So have something, have a cane if you've got balance issues, or a walker, or grab bars. Well, Barry, it's been great having you talk to us about fall prevention and fall prevention products. Really, really appreciate you being with us today.
We really hope that you're enjoying the show so far. Chrissy left us off with a few exercises, but we know of one more that is going to be very good for strengthening ourselves as well. So let's see what our last exercise will be, shall we?
Those 3 exercises are great, Chrissy, but I hear that there's one more you wanted to show us.
Yes, there's one more. So the last one is grounding, and so it really is a visualization process where you're imagining you're like a tree and you're growing roots from your feet down through the ground.
Okay.
So you're up, good posture, is on, right? You're centered through your feet, and then you're going to grow those roots down, and what it does is it anchors you from here down.
Wow.
And what it allows you to do is be more fluid at the top. We don't want to be rigid. When we get fearful, we get rigid. This allows for that kind of, that centering, that grounding, right? You're lower to the ground, being lower to the ground.
I can feel that difference.
Yeah. Doesn't work well. And then when you're walking, when you're on inclines, you're on declines, you're still centered, you're still grounded, because that's when people get scared, right? When they're on uneven ground or slippery surfaces. So you ground it, root it, no matter what surface you're on, and just keep that in mind.
So you just visualize yourself with those exercises, rooted, grounded, your core is on.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have really explored all kinds of different things within this particular episode of Act 3. We really do hope that you have learned something from the program today. But sometimes when we have fun like this, we need to jazz it up a little bit. Beverly McKean is a local artist. She's a singer in our community, and she's fantastic. We hope you enjoy her songs.
She came out singing from the darkest hole, and her hope was never gone, was her praying song through the dark into the light. And when asked if she thought she would live, she said, why not? She knew in an instant her life had been spared. Debris as a blanket, imagine how scared. Her lungs choked in quake dust, her heart full of fear. In this tomb of entrapments, will they ever find me here? Will they ever find me here? She came out praying song through the dark into the light. And when asked if she thought she would live, she said, why not? The boys from the city came listening still. Tap, tap, tap was her message, the code of the living on will. Raw hand shovels, the tools of the brave, snake a light of technology, and they pulled her from her grave. They pulled her from her grave. She came out singing from the darkest hole. And her hope was never gone, was her praying song through the dark into the light. And when asked if she thought she would live, she said, why not? She said, why not? 10 years of recovery, so much to do yet. Rebuild the whole country, forgive all its debt. Construct the schoolyard, the church and the street. It's a nation in crisis as we pull them to their feet. We pull them to their feet. She came out singing.
Well, Abigail, did you have a good time today? I sure did too. And we sure did learn a lot about falls now, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, Abigail, it was sure nice to have you here on set and to be having you a part of the show again. How would you like to be a part of it a little bit more often?
Deal.
Deal? Deal. Well, before we do that, we've got some educational things that we can do with the people that are watching us right now. Okay. How about if we take the lead and remember that COVID isn't over yet. So it's very important that we wear our mask, especially flamingo masks like this one. They're so, so pretty. And wash our hands. Wash. And take care of each other. Thanks for tuning in to Act 3 today. We'll see you next time.